How y'all are this morning? This is your old buddy Tackleberry over at the Bergen Gun Range again. With our next installment on, I got this old used gun. And today's old used gun is this guy right here. This is the Ruger something or other. If you go to Ruger's catalogs and look at them, you'll find that they don't, or when this gun was made, make a two-tone gun. This is a Ruger Mark II semi-bull 5.5-inch barrel target. You probably noticed it's got a stainless steel lower and a blued upper. This is actually 1.5 guns. What I had was I had a standard model Mark II stainless 4-inch. And in a roundabout way, a friend of mine bought out a gun store and gunsmith shop, and in part of that stuff was a bunch of Ruger parts. Well, I built probably 3 10-22s out of it. One of them I still have. And in that lot of parts was this top, this upper receiver barrel group for a Mark II. So I thought, it would be cool to have a two-tone Ruger. So I installed that, took my stainless steel bolt and I put in it. I put my blued mainspring housing in it, blued trigger, and so forth. And I also installed a Wilson Combat, they don't make it anymore, thumb magazine release on this gun. And what that does is, if you know a Ruger Mark II has a heel catch back here. You have to pull back on the heel catch to get the magazine out of it. And what this does for it, it mechanically pulls that heel catch back when you work the lever, and that drops your magazine out and allows you to get it in a little easier. I've hunted high and low. Everybody in the country has asked me about this accessory and have asked that I procure it and install it on their gun, and I simply cannot find it. It's not on their website. It's not with any of our suppliers, and I just can't find it. And I've only seen one other one and tried to buy it off of him. But this is a pretty good gun. We're going to give it a try here. This gives you some idea. The Mark II, the standard model, the Mark I and the Mark II are all pretty modular, like a 10-22. You can actually get parts to go on them and modify them any way you want to. You can buy new upper receiver barrel groups and put on them. Using your standard frame, you can put anything on it. You can configure it to a 3-inch barrel with threads on it for a suppressor, all the way out to a 10.5-inch barrel. They make this, there's a company that manufactures, I think it's Procorson, manufactures a version of the upper, and it's fairly copied. There's some Ruger standard model Mark IIs out there that are actually made by AMT, and they're no longer in production, but they're manufactured by Arcadia Machine Tool out in California. And all of the AMT parts for the Ruger will fit on the Ruger brand. Overall, it's just an outstanding and very desirable gun. I've killed squirrels with this thing. I've killed sitting rabbits with them. I'm not too good at shooting them on the fly, but and a groundhog or two. Just an overall good gun. Thought I'd bring it out and show it. Today's target is the 25-yard steels, and then we're going to try for the 50-yard steels and see if we can get anywhere. See if my marksmanship is anywhere nearly as good as I think it ought to be. Let's try the 10-inch steel at 25 yards. That's a hit. That's a hit. Well, that was short work, and the cool little magazine release. Okay, that's probably not much of a challenge for this gun. 10-inch square steel plate at 25 yards. Let's try the old chest center just in case we didn't. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. You know, there's a funny idiosyncrasy about this. We were out there shooting the old steel challenge, and I noticed I couldn't get this thing to work where the hoot when it was wet. It was raining all day that day, and just something about, I don't know, the magazines got wet, the ammunition got wet. The ammunition all fired. 22 long rifle ammunition is a lot more watertight than people think it is, but something just slowed it down and it had a hard time working. And we had another Ruger Standard out there, a Mark II 50-year anniversary gun. We were shooting it, and I think Gary had his Mark 4. It wouldn't work very well. They all worked, but they just didn't work very well in the rain when the gun was overall wet. I think it may have, the moisture and the lubrication together may have not interfaced well or something, kind of slowed it down. Let's put another one through it. I think I loaded 4 magazines. Let's try a 5-inch at 55 yards, just like that. Oh yeah, that's the boy right there. Just like you know what you were doing. Let's try a 2-inch swinger at 55 yards. You better draw down, Alvin. Oh, I hit it. Look at that. I bet I couldn't do that freestanding. The lesson here is, this gun shoots better than I can. I've never seen one that didn't shoot better than I can. I'll just tell you the truth. These guys are an absolutely exceptional gun, and I've seen a few that were wore out over the years. What kills the Ruger faster than anything is low maintenance. You know, I've seen them so clogged up with solidified WD-40 and rust and everything else that they wouldn't work, but I can generally get them to work. They're a very simple gun to work on. With a minimum amount of maintenance, they're a very reliable firearm. I generally shoot this gun and all of the Ruger pistols to the point of failure. When you talk about when to clean them, you clean them when they quit working. And that's about it. You just clean them when they quit working. And I'm like, keep shooting this gun and shooting this gun and shooting this gun. And I shoot about every weekend. The point of today's message is the Ruger brand, the Mark I, Mark II, the old standard model. I see a lot of standard models are made from 1947 to 1959, you know, and every one I see works. Every one I see is still in service. They're not extremely collectible. There are guys out there that have got an absolute fetish for Ruger guns, in particular this model. And they'll collect and buy every one they can get their hands on. New, old, used, broken, whatever. You know, they'll buy every one they can get their hands on. This gun is highly modified. The more you modify one, the less it's worth. I don't have any plans on selling this gun, so I've never considered what its actual value was. But if one of them walked in the store, a modified gun like this would probably only be worth, $150 wholesale, and we might try and get $200 out of it. Whereas the stainless 4-inch barrel stainless would be worth considerably more wholesale to retail. So that's about the size of it. Pretty good old gun. I've worked the tar out of it. Almost won the steel challenge with it. I think if it had been a bright sunny day and everything hadn't been soaking wet, we'd probably been in a lot better shape. Just for the record, Team Cook won that event overall. Cook's Collectibles down in Danville, Wilmer Cook and his bunch won it. And old Wilmer's a pretty good shot now, don't let anybody kid you. You'll see him around his business all the time instead of out shooting guns and practicing, but he's a pretty good shot, and he's got a good collection of guys. And next year, we're gonna clean his clock. Absolutely. Anyway, that's about the size of it. The latest installment on, hey, I got this old gun. Hope you like it. We'll see y'all.